What is up, guys? Welcome to Bro Beats. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to mix your drums. This would be like the only drum mixing tutorial I'm going to do unless it's something specific. All right, and if you guys haven't subbed already, make sure you hit that sub button because it does help me out a lot. And there will be a free download link in the description with a template and pictures of everything in this video so that you can kind of copy this, especially if you don't have FL or the FLP doesn't work. You can just copy the numbers and everything. So hopping right into this, I'm going to just play the beat for you real quick. All right, nothing crazy. Now we're not going to focus on the sample. I just have it for reference so you can hear how it sounds like in a actual beat. All right, so first things first, bro, things that people don't talk about, what the velocity is at and the loudness of your sounds already. So going into here, what I do, so if you want to actually learn, if you want to like take the mix from this video and apply it like directly to your mixes right now, like in this, after this video, all your mixes should sound like how the result of this video is, right? You have followed this is important. I put all my sounds, assuming that all my sounds are normalized or just regular loudness, I put them all at the default. So if you just load up a new project and click one in, whatever that velocity is at, which is 80%, I keep it there for my claps, perks, everything. Now you're probably like, well, what if the velocity is, rolled up? That's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not really that important, okay? Because it's just a roll, okay? It's not gonna really affect your mix that much. All right, but everything else I just leave as is, okay? Now the kick in 808, this I put all the way up. My 808 I put all the way up. Now the only time I don't do that if they are clipping, all right, if they're super loud, and I'll show you what that is. Now this is the part right here that's annoying. So if you get a sound, it should look something like this, right? It should be within this rectangle. Now what a lot of people like to do when making sounds, they like to make them super loud, which is fine. They sound good, but just because they're loud doesn't mean they're high quality or or good sounds. So if you open up, you get a sound that looks like this, that's not something you want to use, especially if you're following this video. If you're trying to get a clean mix, it's not something you want to use. Or if you do use it, normalize it so that it's within these lines. Now if it's a little bit like this, that's fine, that's not a big deal. But if it's like this, nah. All right, it shouldn't be like that. All right, again with this one, it shouldn't look like this. It can look like this, that's fine, but somewhere in between this rectangle. And then you see I have a rim that's a little clipping, that's fine. Once again, you just don't want it super clipping, right? So that is the most important part to know, because that can throw off everything I'm about to say later, okay? So going into this, let's go to the mixer. Let's pull everything down. Now this sample, whatever, I'm just put this at -9 dB. That's kind of like the default spot for me. So if you have a sample or something you just want to follow directly, I just put that at -9 dB. Now kick in 808, separation and mono. I put I don't like putting my 808 in mono. I just don't like it, but we're just gonna follow. Most people say put it in mono, and I know people in the comments gonna be like, put your 808 in mono. So just put it in the mono, okay? Whatever. Kick 0 dB. All right. Now 808, -6 from wherever your kick is. So that's -6 dB. All right. Now it should sound something like this. All right. So now going to clap, in your clap, that would be whatever sound you use for your kind of static, or consistent clap or drum, whatever you have here that is consistent throughout the song, right? This -3 dB, okay? So just directly in between the 808 and kick. Get it right on that. And then I usually take this to the left because we have a layered sound. Now with your layered sound, most people be like, oh, I'll just put it at -3. Nah, because they're gonna overlap and it's gonna make it sound louder and it's gonna mess up your mix. So what you want to do is put it -3 from that, or just somewhere around there. So we can do -6 dB, and this way they'll mesh well. And I'm gonna tick this to the right. All right, just one tick to the right to pan it. All right, you know, sound something like this. Okay, sounds pretty good. So now we have our fillers. So I have 2 fillers. You can have 1, doesn't matter. And that would be like your in-betweens. All right. So for this one, I do -7 dB. All right, let's go to -7. Same for filler 2. And you're probably like, oh, why don't you do this whole layer thing with it? That's because they don't play at the same time. All right, they're just play on different spots, so it's okay if we put them at the same dB. And I just tick 1 to the left to pan it and 1 to the right. All right, and if you have more, everything else goes. So for hats, open hats, hi-hats, people say usually like, oh, -10 dB, but I think that's too low personally. So I just put it at -8 dB. Just kind of like my default there. And I'll play it. All right, so now the perks. This goes for all perks, sound effects, Vox, whatever, vocals, whatever. All right, this one, I just put 1 dB below the hi-hats, or just -9 dB, should be fine. So it should be leveled with your instruments almost. But don't take that literally, because I know some people will be like, oh, you know, and they'll actually literally do that every single beat. Just do a -9 dB, all right? And, you know, you got your perks down here. All right, you can still hear it. It's not overtaking any other sound. It's just something subtle. And then with these 2, I usually would pan my hi-hats 1 tick to the left. And then my perks, depending on how many perks I have, I kind of just do this pattern. We'll just put it 1 tick to the right. All right, and that's pretty much how you would level and mix those. Now you're probably like, oh, what about EQ? Really, honestly, nowadays, this is not 2005. All right, every sound that you get in a kit is probably pre-mixed or processed in some way, shape, or form. So you do not need to mix your drums that much. If you're using sounds from 2013, then maybe. So how you would go about that is on over here. So this is, I think, about 90 hertz, I believe. You just take this and pull it straight down, bro. That's all you got to do. It's not that hard. Okay, it's all you got to do. Just take some of that bass out, because if you take anything else out, it's going to make the sound very weak. You don't want that. All right, you want your drums to sound strong. So let me reset that. Kicks, you can, if whatever EQ you want to put on there, but again, this is 2020. We don't need to really do all that anymore. Okay, so now the next part, how to prep it for mastering. You want to get your whole entire mix and master to -6, all right, or somewhere around there. I think I made a video on this already, but somewhere around -6, or sometimes I do -3, depending on how many instruments and stuff I have. So I'll just play this one more time real quick. All right, so you can see it's at 0. So you want to highlight everything and then just slowly. Now you want to click, when you click and drag, you want to click and drag the one that's the highest. So that's our kick. So that's the highest sound, because that is going to show us where we're actually at. So we can just pull it down a little bit and kind of just gauge it. Pull it down more. All right, you can see it's directly at -6 dB. All right, and that's how you prep it for mastering. So if you want ozone or something like that, that should be fine. All right, that's pretty much it for this video. That's all I have. Make sure you guys go download that template again. And if you do have like Logic or something, you can go ahead and get those pictures for reference. So you get everything here. All these numbers, everything is in there. All right, so that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.